3 of the most toxic foods that you need to avoid on a carnivore diet, plus 3 tips for long-term sustainability, setting yourself up for success on a carnivore diet. That's what we're gonna cover in today's video. Let's get to it. So these 3 foods are foods that I'm gonna tell you to avoid them, and you're probably going to nod your head. But what you do with that information and whether you actually make these changes when you're at the grocery store or you're going in your cabinet or your cupboard and there's all these enticing foods, what are you gonna do with this information? This is one of the benefits of a carnivore diet, which today's video is not really about that. I got plenty of other videos on the benefits of a carnivore diet, but simplicity, I do wanna mention. It is extremely simple. It keeps things in a perspective for you that makes it easier to make decisions, to make better decisions for your health. That's one of the reasons I love carnivore. It just makes things stupid simple. Instead of trying to count calories, read labels, do all these things, there's just certain entire food groups you just don't eat. They're not good for you anyways. You're gonna benefit from it, the question being, should I eat this or not? And it being a very simple yes or no. These 3 primary food groups are the primary foods that you don't wanna eat on a carnivore diet. I would say you probably don't wanna eat them on any diet, but that's a topic for another day. The first thing is sugar. Added sugar. Carnivore doesn't include any plants from the plant kingdom. There's versions of carnivore that you can dial back and have some plants, have some fruit, certain foods, depending on the makeup, depending on what family it's from, and all these different variables, some foods are gonna be better than others. But to start a carnivore diet, at least in the beginning, treat it as an elimination diet and avoid these foods. And that includes all plants, all fruit, all grains, all beans, lentils, corn, soy, anything that is a carb-filled food for the most part. I'm not gonna talk about dairy today. I have a video on that. You can actually find it up here. The first most important food that you want to avoid is sugar, added sugar. It's gonna read as sugar, cane syrup, even dextrose, glucose. There's literally like 100+ names for what sugar can be, and there's different sugar molecules. You basically wanna avoid any food that has a nutrition facts panel, that has a nutrition facts panel that then has sugar and then it says grams, right? So if it says like 7 grams, or 2 grams, or 3 grams, or 20, or 40. Don't eat any of that. That has added sugar. Now, because carnivore is no plants, you're basically not eating any sugar from anything for the most part. Now, I do a little bit of honey here and there. I'll have some berries here and there. I might have some sweet potatoes here and there. My version of carnivore is very much like 90 to 95%, but I do have some foods from the plant kingdom if I'm in the mood or my family made it and there's some and it looks tasty, whatever. I don't have an addiction to it. I've been able to kind of go without it. So like I've kind of broken the carb spell. I've
broken the sugar monster that lived inside me for a very long time.
So I feel like I can incorporate those foods and do just fine. Whether you do that or not is gonna be up to you. For the first 30 to 60 days, I recommend doing none of it, right? It's very hard to just like modulate and control yourself. So eliminate all of it. Don't eat anything with sugar. Number 2, anything that has carbohydrates, sweet potatoes, corn, soybeans. I guess some people eat soybeans, beans, peas, whatever. Again, like this is kind of simple because carnivore should be none of that stuff. Don't eat any of it. Literally nothing. And no grains, absolutely. So if we were gonna rank these in order of bugaboo, it'd be fructose and sugar, the first thing you absolutely don't wanna eat. And that would probably coincide with grains and gluten, depending on whether you have autoimmune issues. For some people, gluten could destroy you, right? And, so like that would maybe take priority. But for the most part, grains and sugar are gonna be the 2 most important things you want to avoid. So number 3 is less seldom talked about. It contributes to metabolic syndrome, diabetes, all these things. It's one of the most toxic foods in our food supply. It might actually be the most toxic, and that is vegetable and seed oils. Any oil that's extracted from a plant, you don't want to eat, right? Compare that to like lard or tallow or even butter. These are all animal-based fats. I won't get into that today. It's a huge topic, but for the most part, all the inflammatory,
basically toxic sludge-produced oils that you find in our food supply.
Soybean, Crisco, hydrogenated, partially hydrogenated. You have canola, that's one of the worst ones because of rancidity. Like this stuff is really, really bad. And it's in, get this, about all restaurant food and almost all processed food. And even at a place like Whole Foods, when you go look at the food bar, look at what the oil they use to cook almost all of their foods. Can you guess what it is? Canola. Freaking canola. Garbage. Avoid all of that. And this kind of coincides with the next 3 tips that I'm gonna give you to be set up for success. You need to be cooking your meals at home. You cannot rely on restaurants or corporations to cook your meals. There are exceptions here. There are strategies to get around this, but for the most part, when a corporation takes ingredients and puts them together in this meal that you can eat, it's going to always be lower quality. it's going to almost always have some kind of susceptibility to oxidation or rancidity or any of these other things, and it's not gonna be good for you in most cases. After all, corporations, they think canola oil, because it got the heart healthy seal from the ADA or American Heart Association or whoever.
The food-funded freaking government bureaucracy BS.
Cherry-picking science, garbage, policy, freaking absurdity.
Organization gave it a heart healthy label based on a bunch of really bad epidemiological research that tries to connect like low saturated fat to better heart health, and just, oh my gosh. I know my head hurts even going there. It's like I get sucked into these tangents of absurdity because these literal conspiracies to the American public, it's killing millions of people. The big corporations and the government and all these really, really corrupt, or at least just too lazy to change departments, are killing more people than smoking. Heart disease and cancer, primarily based on our food system. Not talking about that, are they? I know. Today's video is about carnivore diet for beginners. Who's this crazy guy going off about all these conspiracies? I know. Before we get to the 3 ways to get set up for success, let's recap. Sugar, nothing with sugar, and absolutely nothing with like cane sugar or fructose or anything added. 2, grains, beans, lentils, any grain product. And corn's actually a grain. Most people think it's like a vegetable, but it's not, it's a grain. No vegetable or seed oils. And if you go home with raw, real ingredients, ideally an animal-based product, even if you go to a place like Whole Foods or your local grocery store, and you take it home and you cook it in a specific oil and you use a specific salt and you cook it a specific way and then you eat it, that's how you're gonna control what you're actually putting in your body. And that's also fundamentally how you're gonna have success on a carnivore diet. So let's get to 3 strategies to set you up for that success right now. So the first strategy for being set up for success on a carnivore diet is you gotta figure out your cooking fats and oils. This is something that people don't really think about ahead of time. Then they get in the kitchen, they wanna sear a steak, they want it to taste good and look good, and they have no idea. So right now, I'm just gonna give you a very quick hack to get this done. Get some grass-fed ghee. If you're open to it, get some avocado oil. I've not found avocado oil bother me in any way. Some people that wanna go 100% carnivore won't do the avocado, because the monosaturated is very stable. Actually, macadamia nut oil, that's another one. So it could be one of those 3, macadamia nut oil, avocado oil, and ghee. And I would actually buy some good quality products of each of those and then cycle them and kind of see how you respond to them and what you like better. That's all you're gonna need. You're gonna be able to high heat sear, do all these things, and those 3 oils are gonna take care of you. Okay, number 2, you need to get the essential cooking gear. This is a big topic, so let's just list them out. We'll do 1, a sharp knife. We'll do 2, some tongs. 3, a good cast iron pan. 4, meat thermometer. 5, what else on my list? A small serrated knife. 6, sheet pan with a wire rack. 7, maybe a crock pot or a slow cooker or an Instapot if you like meals like that. So get those tools. You can actually find links below to Amazon, and that also helps support the channel. So I appreciate that if you use that. Those are affiliate links, and hit the kit button and it'll give you a list of all the products that I personally use and buy and stand by. And you can outfit what you need under $100. This is not a lot of money, and these things will last you for years. I'm using the same cast iron pan from literally when I was in Florida at least 8 years ago, maybe even more than that. Like when I got into cooking and I was like 22, I've had that same cast iron pan for 12 years, but I digress. Number 3, this is extremely important, and it's not gonna happen overnight. It's going to take time, so be patient. You have to be good at sourcing your food. When you're doing a carnivore diet, the meats, the proteins, the animals, there's a lot of variables to how they're produced, raised, slaughtered, packed, shipped, all these different things. There's just a ton. Grass-fed, grass-finished, even wild from Alder Spring Ranch is actually my favorite beef. You can find a link below to find the beef that I buy. I actually, I'm gonna have the owners on the podcast, Ancestral Mind, which you can find a link to that below as well. That's gonna be really fun, but they do like wild cattle. They follow it around and basically let it roam free in the wild, and the cowboys sleep with the cattle, and it's really awesome. And the meat is phenomenal, right? It's actually my go-to. It's probably the healthiest beef you're gonna find anywhere. And they ship it to your door. If you wanna help support the show and try some really amazing beef, probably the best beef you're ever gonna have, go below, Alder Spring Ranch. Let's say you don't have the funds to buy big, $300, $400 orders offline. I recommend you do it at least a couple times or every so often to really mix it up and add some variety to your carnivore diet and just really see the difference in beef. I mean, if you have beef from the grocery store or from Whole Foods or from H-E-B or Publix or Kroger or these other places, then you go to a restaurant, then you go to a steakhouse, then you buy it from small farms, like there's range and variability in all of that. This point is about sourcing. So it's about finding what's within your budget and what's within your goals and what you like. and then buying those ingredients, those foods, those animal products on a consistent basis. Maybe you like top round London broil and you have a perfect way to cook it. It's at your local grocery store, it's always on sale. Okay, great. I will say that if you're shopping grain-fed beef and you're having kind of like industrial products like that, I would stick with beef rather than pork and chicken because those are really bad. And definitely don't do pork. I think industrial pork is probably the worst. But if you are doing low quality beef, get the leanest beef you can, because a lot of the problems of beef, whether it's hormones or vitamin deficiencies or more omega-6 and omega-3, it actually ends up a lot of times in the fat. Get as lean as possible just to try to mitigate that. That being said, don't convince yourself that you don't have enough money to buy grass-fed, grass-finished beef. If you don't have enough to buy it all the time, what about buying it half the time? What about buying it a quarter of the time? You should be trying to support small producers that grow grass-fed, grass-finished, humanely raised beef, and of course other animals always. And when it comes to seafood, don't buy farm-raised. Just don't do it. It's some of the worst food you can eat. The toxins and the feed and all the things they use, like farm-raised seafood is really bad. Wild caught only, or don't do any seafood at all. Another tip for sourcing is find a range of canned seafoods, always wild caught, ideally in water and salt versus olive oil. But even some of the ones that come in olive oil, not a big deal. Like, it's probably fine. Find a range of these, which you can find at almost every grocery store. And there's a few techniques to kind of take those and mask the flavor if you're not really into seafood. And I have a video of that I just did up here. Then when you have that range of seafood that you like, for example, I like mackerel, very mild. Sardines are gonna probably be better than mackerel, just more nutrition, but harder to stomach. And of course, you know, there's sardines caught off the coast of Spain, and there's some of these other areas where the sardines are really tasty, actually. But you have to test a lot of different products, from how they're caught to how they're processed, to the different oceans they come from, and like there's so many variables here, and it just never ends up tasting the same. Like one sardine from this company in this can is gonna be completely different from this one. But there is usually a lot of really good wild caught, salt and water, canned seafood at most grocery stores. And that's a really, really good hack if you're on the go or you just can't find anything. Like, obviously you can go buy a steak, but then you gotta cook it. You can go grab that canned seafood, and a lot of times you can just put it in a bowl with some mustard and eat it. You're good to go. Maybe some hot sauce. Sourcing is gonna take time, like I said, but when you find those foods that really agree with you, that you really enjoy, and you get better at making those recipes, it's gonna be that much easier to stay committed to your diet. So that's gonna be it for today's video. I hope you found something useful in here. Obviously, the 3 big foods that you have to avoid, we talked about in the beginning. We got sugar, we got grains. I mean, if you just made it simple and you put every non-animal food, basically good to go. I didn't cover dairy because, again, you're gonna have to watch my video on that and you can make your decision for yourself. Set yourself up for success by getting some of the basic tools, figuring out your cooking oils and fats, and then finding where you're gonna source ingredients, what you're gonna buy at these different places, and be willing to kind of go around a different grocery store. Sometimes Costco has this, sometimes H-E-B here in Texas has this, sometimes I can get this at Sprouts or Natural Grocers or Whole Foods or whatever. It actually can become a fun thing when you get into sourcing and you find these kind of, these like diamond in a rough that are just hidden on a shelf somewhere, and you're like, wow, this is an amazing product and it tastes good and I like it. And now I have this like go-to meal if I'm on the go, and plus I can buy this every time I come here. Like, it becomes a fun thing, but sourcing is a skill. It will take time. So make sure you like and subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, obviously drop them below. If there's any strategies that I didn't mention, put them below. If there's any, big foods or big bugaboos that I didn't mention, you can put them below. Any recommendations that would help a beginner on the carnivore diet. And if there's something that you struggle with on your carnivore diet when you got started, what are those below? Like, put those below, because I want to do videos on those, and it's going to help anybody that gets this video that might be a beginner. They can also learn from you. Thanks for watching, and I'm going to see you in the next one. Hey, Colin here. Thanks for watching that video. I got a free PDF for you, The 7 Principles of Living Wild. Short and sweet, not long, not gonna be a novel you have to read or anything, just a simple reference of the things that make you a healthy human. So click on the button below, get that right now, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.